Hey guys, it's Bassima. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm a certified life and productivity coach, and today's video is going to be all about task batching. I'm going to show you why, if you haven't started task batching yet, you should jump on that wagon and how it can really be life-changing for you. This is video number 3 in my new series on productivity tips for new freelancers and entrepreneurs. So if you haven't seen the previous 2 videos, I'll link them above and I'll also leave them in the description box. If you like this video, hit that like and subscribe button, and let's jump right into task batching. Task batching really requires you to get super clear on the tasks you're working on so that you can break them down into manageable pieces and also be able to group similar functions together. So there's 2 components that I really like to tie together when it comes to task batching. It's grouping similar functions together, but then also depending on the tasks or the functions that they have, you're also going to link that to times of the day where you have the most or least energy depending on what the tasks are and how much work and energy they require. You're going to be able to actually prioritize and schedule out your tasks, which that alone is game changing. And then you're going to be able to stay focused on the work you're doing because you actually have enough time to enter into some type of flow and you don't have to consistently be switching from task to task. So all these things are going to instantly increase your productivity. When I started out freelancing, I made the decision to quit my job. I knew that I needed to get some part-time work to have some income coming in so that I wasn't super stressed out while I was trying to figure out freelancing and entrepreneurship. What I ended up doing is working with 3 teaching English as a second language companies. That ended up having me working on multiple different days and just being really spread out throughout the week with my part-time job. I didn't yet have clients, but once I had clients, these were also falling on different days to work around my teaching English as a second language companies. I'm gonna insert a picture of my old schedule and what I was dealing with. And so as you can see within this old schedule, whenever I was about to get into the zone of something, I was cut off because I had to start working with one company. And on top of that, I had to do things for YouTube, Pinterest, email list, and all the things that come with freelancing and entrepreneurship. I really felt like I had no structure to my days, and flexibility was actually working against me, which I didn't expect. Now, this had other downsides too, so I felt like anything that I was learning related to business or freelancing or my coaching career, I was never fully grasping. I felt like I had to work 10 times harder and work 10 times longer because my focus was consistently shifting. So I was never focusing on a single task. I was consistently playing catch up and feeling guilty that I was not productive, that I was procrastinating too often, and that would have me trying to work on multiple different things at the same time. So unless you're multitasking between easy tasks that don't require much brain power and that you've done pretty frequently, so they're part of your routine and their habits, switching between complex tasks is very challenging. Our brains can't handle it, and you quickly realize that multitasking isn't the answer to being more productive and catching up on all the work that you feel you've been slacking on. Instead, this is where task batching comes in. I'm gonna walk you through some tangible steps that you can take, especially if you're new to this game and you want to test it out but you don't know where to start. These tips are gonna definitely help you. Let's go into step number 1 of what you need in order to start task batching, and I'll show you the difference in my schedules, how my schedule looks now after task batching. One thing that I do want to mention is to primarily focus on your work tasks. This is going to make it so much easier for yourself. Instead of feeling like you have to task batch everything, just starting with your work tasks, getting the hang of that first, and then moving on to task batching any of your other tasks if that's what you want to do. Let's jump into step number 1, which is to brain dump all your tasks that you feel you have to do. The reason why you want to do this is because you might realize that there's a lot of tasks that seem super vague to you. So this is your time to get really clear on them, because you're going to need that clarity in order to start grouping these tasks with other tasks that have similar functions. Because at the end of the day, that's what task batching is. It's seeing what tasks are related to each other and how can you group them together. Then the added bonus, which I really like, is depending on what the tasks are, scheduling them throughout periods of your day where you're either more productive or less productive. For example, if I just show you a basic scale here, what I like to do is any of my tasks that are either new, challenging, out of my comfort zone, maybe might need a couple of revisions. So say YouTube videos, I'm still relatively new to that. It might need some revision, it might need more patience. Then I like to schedule those tasks out to points in my day where I'm more productive, I'm more awake, I'm more energetic, so that you actually get the result that you want at the end. end. Things that are more routine for me, that require less brain power, that are more habit-based now, I will make it a point to schedule those tasks out at periods of the day where my energy has either dipped or it's still an okay level. So these are tasks like, for example, teaching English as a second language for me. It's my part-time job. I know what it entails, and that's something that doesn't require a lot of brain power for me. It can also look like cooking, cleaning, errands, whatever it is. Schedule those out to periods of the day where you are lower energy. I think this is the most point that is often neglected, and once you actually start incorporating 2 factors within your task batching and your schedule, you really will notice a world of a difference, because it does give you enough time to actually get into the flow of work, which as a new freelancer and entrepreneur you really want, because it's difficult enough as it is to find that motivation and to get started, because there's so much that's new to you out there and you might not know exactly where it is to start. If you have any tasks that repeat themselves throughout the week, you can batch those together if they have similar functions and do them whenever you have to throughout the week, or you can have specific assigned days to them. So that's what I like to do, especially when it comes to things like YouTube, Pinterest, email lists. If I see that I can batch things on specific days, I really like that, because I know what my days are going to be focused on, and it doesn't have me switching between one task to the next. This is going to take a bit of trial and error, and also going to require you to tune in to when your energy dips throughout the day, so that you can actually figure out when is it that you're most productive, and then use that to your advantage when starting. Okay, so let's jump into how my new schedule looks like now. So you're gonna see that I have set days that some tasks are assigned to, and then I also have days where some of my tasks are repeated. So that's gonna more so look like my part-time job that I still do, that I really enjoy, and also my client check-ins. Those things do still happen regularly throughout my schedule, but now I've ensured that they don't overlap with times in my day when I'm most productive. So now that I'm aware of that, my schedule does look a bit different. Okay, so let's start with Sunday. That's the day that I post my YouTube videos. So the day after that, so let's look at Monday. I know that I'm the most productive starting anywhere from 6 a.m. to around 11 or noon time. So that's my zone of productivity. During that time, I'm going to sit down and create 7 pins throughout the week, and I'm going to schedule them. And then after that, I schedule out any of my teaching English as a second language classes. On Tuesday, what you can see there is I'm going to choose the 4 topics that I'm going to do for that month for my YouTube channel, and I'm also going to do the SEO on that day. I really want to make sure that on the day that I choose the topics, I'm also validating them with the SEO component, and so I do that on Tuesday, and that also falls within the same time block that you can see. And so then afterwards, my teaching English as a second language classes also come in later on in the afternoon. On Tuesday, I also write the script of my YouTube videos. Filming usually takes me more time, so I won't have time to write out the script on the same day that I'm filming. So on Wednesday, it's now my filming day, and it's also my taking thumbnail day. And then Thursday, I edit my YouTube video, and I also edit my thumbnail. And from there on Friday, I'm going to write my newsletter for Sunday, and then I'm just going to spend the rest of that time scheduling everything out. So I'm going to schedule my newsletter, I'm going to schedule my YouTube video, my thumbnail, and insert the SEO that I did earlier on. So as you can see, my task batching is always happening earlier on in the day, because that's when I'm the most productive, awake and energized, and ready to tackle my more challenging tasks. Now, one thing that might come up for you at the beginning when you're task batching is you might remember things or get distracted by other work that you feel you might do. And so that's completely normal. What you could do is just make a note of it if it really isn't leaving your mind, and just know that you're going to get back to it later, and you don't have to worry at that point because you've written it down, so you're not going to forget it. So that's a great little hack that I like to use, especially if I feel like there's a lot of distracting thoughts that I'm thinking of. The last important thing to remember is that life does happen. So it's completely okay if you have to rearrange your schedule because things came up for you and you couldn't stick to your most productive time of the day. So you could always rearrange your task batching to other points in the day, or switch around your task batching days so that it works better within your schedule of that week. Some major benefits that I've seen from task batching is that I'm more focused, I'm less tired, I'm more energized, I'm able to work on a single task for a longer period of time. So I think that's like the greatest benefit, is that you're able to actually extend your attention span. And the fact that it makes you break down your steps and get super clear on them just makes all your tasks feel way more manageable. And that's something that we can all use, especially when starting out with freelancing and entrepreneurship. I hope you found this video helpful. I'd love to hear down below in the comment section if you've already tried task batching, and if you haven't, if this video has gotten you to think of trying it out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week in part 4 of this series on productivity tips for new freelancers and entrepreneurs, all about time blocking for more productivity. I hope you have a happy, healthy, and productive week, and see you next time.